and now it works. So that's the issue. Okay, welcome everybody. I had to still having technical difficulties, so hopefully you're finding me okay. Let's see if I got this here. If it's all showing. Nope, not there. Let's see. All showing. All right. Now it's up. Okay. So here we are. Welcome to How to Find Motivated Sellers. And that's really kind of what you want to be able to do as a real estate investor, right? Because that's where the deals are going to be. And so we want to find sellers that are motivated to sell their property at a discount. And if we can do that frequently and consistently, we can become great real estate investors. I mean, that's what we all want to do, is we want to be real estate investors. We want to be really good ones. But here's the thing. To become a really good real estate investor and to find these motivated sellers, you actually have to become first a really good marketer. We all signed up to be real estate investors, but we're not really in the real estate investing business as much as we are in the marketing business first. Now, that sometimes dissuades a few people from even trying to get involved in real estate because they're like, I don't want to be a marketer. And that's okay. If you don't want to do it, I get it. It's not everybody's thing. But the alternative would be that you go to auctions, you work with real estate agents. What are some other things that you could do? I mean, you could go on the multiple listing service on your own and just try and negotiate with people that have their houses listed. And that will work. It absolutely will work. And real estate will deliver everything that it has ever promised when it comes to creating wealth for the average person. It's done it for more people than anything else. But here's the issue, is that you're going to be paying retail price. You're going to be paying a lot more. And if that's the option that you want to take, then that's okay. It also is going to cut down. You want to be able to be as creative. You're going to need a lot more money. You're going to need a lot more credit. You're going to have to play by the traditional rules. And if you have the means and you're not looking to make a full-time business out of real estate investing, then that could very well be a path for you. But if you want to find deeply discounted properties off market, properties that you find before anyone else, before they appear on Zillow, then you have to become a marketer. And if you want to be flexible and use other people's money and use the seller's money and do creative financing strategies like subject to and lease options and all the array of the different creative financing strategies, then you have to become a marketer. So you have to market to the exact same place to where real estate agents market, and that's directly to sellers. Okay. So how real estate agents go about it is they market to everybody in the neighborhood. They'll focus on every single door and they'll send them something every month. They might knock on the door every once in a while and say hello. They might drop off a stocking or candy canes at Christmas and put little American flags on Veterans Day in the lawns in the neighborhood. And they call that farming. So they're working on every single door because they know by averages that everyone is going to sell their house within a 3 to 5 year period. That's kind of the average. And that's the numbers that they play. And that's what they rely on. And that's how they build their business. And it works for them. Us as real estate investors, we might want to move a little bit faster, right? And so we're not going to focus on every single door. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on the doors that are most likely to actually be motivated, and not just motivated to sell, but motivated to sell at a discount. And that's what we call a motivated seller. And so why would anybody sell their house at a discount? Because this is a really common question. Because most people, why wouldn't you just go to a real estate agent, put it on the market and sell it for top dollar? I mean, this is a hot market right now, right? We might be able to get more than what the house is worth. And that's absolutely true. But see, those are people that want to sell. We're looking for people that need to sell. Big difference. We're not looking for the people that want to sell. We're looking for the people that need to sell. That's where the discounts are going to come from. So what causes somebody to need to sell? Well, what causes them to need to sell is they got some sort of challenge, some sort of problem going on in their world that's more important to them than going through the traditional means of selling a house through a real estate agent and putting it on the market and waiting for all the buyers in the area to see it and waiting for open houses and waiting for the loans to get approved and then going through all the inspections and and all that stuff. And that's fine. That's how most people do it. But we're looking for those that need to sell, and they need to sell fast. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And so what I'm going to share with you is this little mind map, and this is what we're going to work off of. I don't know how long we're going to be here tonight, but it's pretty deep. It's pretty intense, and I've got a lot of good stuff to give you. I'm going to give you documents and resources and websites. And what this all came from was a marketing class, a marketing master class I did on the weekend for a group of investors. And we did this live. I spent the whole day doing this. And we're not going to spend the whole day, obviously, but I recorded everything, and it's all inside of our members area. So if you would like to go ahead, and if you like what you see and you want to get the entire course, all the videos with all of my guests, all of my expert marketers, you can go to that domain name that you see there, reimarketingmasters.com, and you can go there at any time. And so that's up there, and the recordings are now available. Okay, so, I just realized that you didn't even see my page. So let me go ahead and do that. See how this works. All right. So there is the mind map that we're going to use. And I'm just checking to see if we're good on this end. Okay, we're good. You can see it. All right. So this is how this works. And I'll have a link below in the description or somewhere on this page, depending on where you're watching this video, that you'll have access to this mind map. Okay, so it came from the Epic Marketing Masterclass, and we're talking about attraction marketing. Because there's another kind of marketing that you can do, and that's where you chase people and you hunt them down, right? Things like cold calling and door knocking and going to networking events and trying to hand out your business cards and trying to pitch everybody that you come to. And I used to do that. I used to do a lot of that, and it absolutely works. And if you want to do that, go for it. And the reason I did it because it was free. It didn't cost any money. And so and it's very effective, but you can get burnt out if you don't have like the right tolerance for it. If you're not a total people lover, or maybe you don't have the right personality for it, or maybe you just don't, I don't know, whatever it may be. It might not be your thing. So I came up with something called attraction marketing. And it was a mentor of mine early on who had said, Matt, how would you do business if your phone only received incoming phone calls? And that's what kind of changed my whole business, and it changed it for forever, right? And it's still how ever since that conversation, and we kind of hashed that out and flushed out all the different ways that we could make the phone ring coming in and not me having to call out and bother people. Then that's when I became a marketer, and that's really what he was teaching me how to do, is to become a marketer. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. So with this mind map, when you have the link to it and you want to come back through this, you'll go ahead, and every time you see a little circle like this, you'll go ahead and you can just click the circle, and it'll open up a bunch of other stuff that's in there as well. Okay. And then right here, anytime you see a little paper clip that you see like that, that's a link or an attachment. So that's going to take you to a website, or it's going to be able to give you a document to download. All right. So let's just start at the top. We're going to start at the very basics, and we're going to make all the way through. We're going to start what is attraction marketing, the basics of lead generation. Then I'm going to give you some different strategies and techniques that we use right here in my business to this day. And we've been using them for a very long time, and we continue to use them because they're still very, very effective. They still work. And that's how I craft the email signature, the signature in every email that I send out. And it brings me about, 3 to 4 deals a year just from this one signature. So you just have to make one little tweak to your inbox, and it's going to bring a few deals to you every single year. Then I'll show you how to work your existing leads. And these are probably the most valuable leads that you have, the leads that you've already generated. Because as they say, the fortune is in the follow-up, right? So this is where the real fortune is the leads that you've already generated. You just need to follow up. And I'm going to show you a bunch of really cool, easy ways to follow up with them so it doesn't feel awkward or weird for you. And then Craigslist. This is an absolute gold mine. And a lot of people discount this because, it too takes a little bit of work. It takes some persistence. It's a little bit of a numbers game, but it absolutely works. It's still one of the bigger websites on the internet. It's where all the eyeballs are. But it comes with some challenges and stuff, just like all of these different strategies do. But once you know how to overcome them, this can be really effective. There's a new student of mine, Ivy Morales, I believe is her name. Morales or Rosales? Forgive me, Ivy, if you're watching. She just started working with us a couple months ago, and I gave her everything that I'm going to show you how to do in this Craigslist ad, and she got her two deals, I believe, inside of 45 days. They've closed, and I think she made somewhere in the realm of $30,000 with those 2 deals combined. So I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll go through how to market for rents and for sale by owners. I'll show you how to find seller finance properties. I'll show you how to work with realtors, how to drive for dollars the right way, And then cold calling. Now, I mentioned that we're going to do attraction marketing, right? And so cold calling doesn't really fit the bill of that. But if it's still a very effective strategy, and even if you don't want to do it, I'm going to show you different ways how you can get this done really, really inexpensively for you. And I got a great script that you can give someone to do, and they can just make those calls all day long for you really, really cheaply. And then when they have a motivated seller on the line, they'll go ahead and they can set you up with your appointment, and then you'll have to talk to the people that are serious, that really want to talk to you, okay? And then we'll spend a little time on direct mail secrets, and I got some additional tools I'll share with you as well. Okay, let's get started. So to attract, it comes in 3 components. You have to identify the target, you have to create curiosity, and you have to trigger action. And by the way, in the chat box there, go ahead and put your questions in there. I can't see it right now. I'm playing my own producer, so I only have so many screens and I can only see so much. But I certainly will stick around at the end and I'll answer all of your questions. So if you want to put them in the chat box, feel free to do so, okay? And if you're watching on Facebook, I'm not sure if they come through or not. But if you're watching on YouTube right now, they most certainly do. But I'll get to them because I can't see them right now. All right, so first is to identify target. Second is to create curiosity. And 3 is to trigger action. So now let's talk about let's start with the top, our targets. Who's our target? We're going to identify that target. Who are we shooting for, right? So we could, with our marketing, we can shoot for sellers, buyers, lenders, or partners, investing partners or business partners. So I'm going to spend, for the purpose of this training, I'm going to spend all of the time on the sellers. This is really kind of the hardest part. If you get this part down, the seller part, the finding buyers, lenders, and partners, that's really, really easy. So just take the same principles that I'm going to share with you on how to find sellers, how to find motivated sellers, and how to find deals. Just take those same principles, and when you're ready to find buyers, just apply it to them, apply it to the lenders, apply it to the partners, and it'll work just as well for them as well. Okay, but let's just focus on sellers. So sellers, motivated sellers. I talked about what makes them motivated. So it's some sort of life situation that they've been going through that's going to cause them to be motivated. So there's sellers that have gone through a divorce, maybe, that have died, are sick, are having issues with drugs. They are delinquent in their payments. They might own a vacant house. Or they might be going through a bankruptcy. They might have liens attached to their property, which would be a symptom of some sort of financial distress. And that's really what we're looking for. We're looking for personal distress, financial distress, or the property itself is in distress. So liens, all the different types of liens. There's water liens, sewer liens, solar liens, HOA liens, mechanics liens, lis pendis, and tax liens. All different types of liens that you can look for with the property, and that could be a symptom or a clue as to there might be some financial distress there and might be somebody that would be willing to sell their house quickly at a discount. And then judgments. So if they've had any judgments in the past, if the property is condemned, or maybe they had it listed on the multiple listing service and then it expired. So they were working with a real estate agent. The real estate agent couldn't sell it. So now it's an expired listing. So that's someone that might still want to sell and might be a little bit more desperate to sell at this point. Or extended days on market. That's what DOM stands for. So, you know, in today's hot market, depending on when you're watching this, but I think it's going to be hot for a while. So it's still relevant. But properties are selling really, really fast, right? So it could be 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, certainly less than a month. So if you see properties out on the market that are out there longer than 30, 60, 90 days, that could be a clue. That could be there's something wrong with that house, and that could be a symptom or some sort of some sort of idea that there might be some distress there. There's something wrong with the house, so there might be a way for you to work around that. For sale by owners, so these are people that are selling their house publicly, but just chose not to use a real estate agent and do it by themselves. People are getting relocated for their job, or maybe they lost their job. Properties that are fire damaged, absentee owners and landlords, especially out of state and also in state. So, you know, we've all heard the horror stories when it comes to landlords. And so like they don't want to deal with the tenants, they don't want to deal with the repairs or whatever it may be, or they're just bored with that type of investment. There's all different types of reasons that people don't want to be a landlord anymore. And those could be really great, be a really great resource to find really good deals. Because typically they're not going to be as attached to that property as much as a resident owner would be attached to their home. So those are a great place to look for deals. People have gone dealing with evictions. You can look there, or foreclosures, obviously, or properties that are in pre-foreclosure, or maybe families that are downsizing. You know, the baby boomers are getting older, and it's a really big portion of our population, and they may be looking to downsize and move into smaller houses. So they were looking to sell their house quickly. Um, probate is another one. People that have just inherited their house, and then also houses that are for rent, because those are vacant houses that aren't making any money for that landlord. So that could be a great clue as to where to find those. So these are all the different places that you can look for deals. And you can see there's a lot of them here. There's no shortage of places to look for deals, to look for motivation. Okay, so those are how we're going to look for in our marketing. Now, let's come over here to create curiosity. So we've identified our target. Say we're looking for absentee owners going through divorce. Maybe that was it. Absentee landlords going through divorce. That's who we're looking for. Now, how are we going to create curiosity? Because we want to attract them, right? We're not going to chase them. We want them to call us. So that's why we got to create curiosity. And so there's some things that you can pay attention to. One is the message, WIIFM. This is the frequency playing in everybody's head, everybody's favorite radio station. What's in it for me? And I see it all the time, particularly with real estate agents. Their marketing is focused on them. Like, look how great I am. Look how good I am, right? Look at the nice car that I have, or look at the fun vacations I get to go on. Look how successful I am. See, that's not what's in it for me marketing. That's what's in it for you. You want to focus on who you are targeting, right? You want to focus on your sellers. What's in it for the seller? Why should they call you? So when it comes to sellers, what's in it for them? Well, you could sell fast. If you were to call me, I could get you all cash. You won't have to do any repairs. I'll buy the property as is. There'll be no fees or commissions. We're not going to deal with the real estate agent. This is going to be easy. There'll be no hassle. I'll make it really smooth for you. There'll be no time on market. You're not going to have to leave on the weekends and let people walk through your house to look at it. We can keep it discreet. We can keep it private. Because, if you're behind on payments and you go into pre-foreclosure and that notice of default gets issued, that's on public notice and your neighbors could know all about it. That could be another thing that you offer to sellers. And it could just be flat out convenient. And this is one that people don't really take into account too much, is certainty. Like, is it actually going to sell? And this is where you could really leverage all the competition that may be in your market. All the other real estate investors, they're all out there trying to get their deals, and they really don't know if they're going to close or not. They're probably looking to flip the paper to someone else before they even close, and they might not be able to find a buyer. They're going to have to give that property back to a seller. And when you talk to a seller, there's a good chance that you're not the first person that has talked to them, and they might have had a bad experience before. So if you can convey, hey, you work with me, this thing's going to close, and we're going to have this out of your hair. We're going to have this monkey off your back. So certainty of close is a biggie for sellers. And I'll go through the buyers and the lenders really quickly, because the same marketing principles, as I said, apply. But they're going to be attracted to different things. Because buyers, they're going to want equity. As an investor buyer, they're going to want a return on investment. They're going to want an opportunity, right? They're going to want a steal. I mean, if you were looking for a deal, you want a steal, right? You want a deal that's like, wow, I stole this one. I got this one really, really cheap. They're going to be looking for cash flow. They're going to be looking for below market value. They want first dibs. They want first crack at it. And they will also want convenience. In other words, it could be you could have already financing in place. If you locked up a property that had seller financing, that would be something really appealing to a buyer. You just want to make it easy for them. Okay. And then as far as comes to lenders and partners, what are they looking for? They're looking for ROI, return on investment. So these are like investors, but just don't want to get their hands dirty most of the time. They're looking for opportunity. They're looking for profit. They're looking for gains. They're looking for convenience. And I'm using all these different words for you because these are the types of words that you're going to want to use in your marketing, in your attraction marketing. This is what's going to create curiosity for your target market. Then you want to make it easy, certainty and confidence. They want a proven track record a lot of times. They might want to talk to referrals. They want to be sure that they can do better than what they're doing already. So if they have their money in the stock market, they want to beat Wall Street. They're looking for cash flow as well. They're looking for tax advantages. They're looking for peace of mind. They're looking to retire early. Okay. So now you know what's in it for your sellers, buyers, and lenders. And if you're going to be crafting and marketing to a seller, then these are the types of words that you want to put in your marketing. Okay. And with the buyers, you use these words. So lenders, partners use these words. All right. So now the source. So where do we find all of these people? Well, you can go to marketing lists. If you just went to Google, let's just try this. I have no idea if this is going to work. Of course it's going to work, but I didn't prepare for this. Let's just say real estate marketing list. And there you go. You got a bunch of pages. So you can just go buy these lists. You could go buy absentee landlords. You could go buy vacant house lists. You could go buy lists of people going through divorce. So that's readily available just by going to Google. There's a great service that we use called PropStream. And if you click right here, this link, it'll take you to it and it'll give you 7 days for free. So if you wanted to check that out, you can do that, but I'll show you kind of what it looks like. We have a special version of it that we give to our private clients called Epic Property Finder. So when you decide to work with Epic, you get this for free for a year, but I'll show you what it looks like. So it takes a view of the entire United States. It's got all kinds of data in here. And say I just want to type in, I don't know, let's just pick something right out of the middle. Topeka, Kansas. Spell that correctly? Yeah, I did. All right. Topeka, Kansas. So right off the bat, there's 111 houses in the multiple listing service. There's 37 pre-foreclosures. There's 16 houses at auction. There's 157 that are bank owned, 175 properties with liens, 2,000 vacant houses, and then there's 52,000 properties there with high equity. So that's just a quick example in searches of what's available in that market. And so these are all of those problems that we're looking for, right? These are these life problems that we're looking for. And then you can go down and you can dig deeper into the other, you can start filtering properties down. So there's liens and bankruptcy and divorce status. There's pre-foreclosure and bank owned, the multiple listing service status, all that stuff. So if you don't have access to the multiple listing service, you get that straight through here as well. What else? Skip tracing. So skip tracing is a way that we could go ahead and we could print a list, say we took all of these properties here. We could print out that list and put it in a spreadsheet, export it into a spreadsheet, and then send it to a service, and they would skip trace it. And what skip tracing is, we'd send them this list of the property address and the seller's name, because that's what's in Epic Property Finder, all that comes there. And then it would come back to us with phone numbers and email addresses of all the people on that list. So that's a way that you could reach out to them. Agency done for you. So if you don't want to do the marketing, you just want to hire the agencies or an agency to do it all for you. There's a couple really great ones. Here's Closers Club, closers.club. This is actually a former RIA student, got his start here at Epic, and he did so well that he went out and he started a software company on how he did so well, and that's what he does. And then realestateinvestor.com, a really good friend of mine, Gary Blumersheim, they have a different approach, but it's an all-encompassing done-for-you service. So if you click these links here, these little links here, that they'll get you a special treatment. They'll know that you came here from Epic, okay? You can go to the courthouse. You can do all of this for free. You can just go down to the courthouse and go through their records. You can go to Zillow. You can go to Redfin. You can go to, this is another great website, Go Section 8. So government subsidized housing. So you can go ahead and you can find those properties that are on the Section 8 list. And now you've got, you can take those addresses and names and numbers, and you can put it inside of Epic Property Finder. You can upload it here, and then Epic Property Finder will go ahead and they'll spit out the seller's names, and then you can go skip trace it, and then you can call them. So it's a really great way to go out and find lists that maybe no one else has. Military by owner. These are great. This is here, I'll show you this. This is one of my favorite little websites. Oops, there we go. So click the link, and then takes you to the website. And so these are houses that are sold by people in the military. So it's like for sale by owner, but it's just people that are in the military. So either they've been restationed or they're going to be deployed. And if I just went to on the map here, let's say Missouri. And so we can see there's an Army base here, there's an Air Force base there, Marine Corps right there, hoorah for all my devil dogs out there, and an Army base. So if I just went here to Fort Leonard, I can view all the listings. Let's see what they got there. Okay, so right now, nothing at Fort Leonard. So that's okay, it happens. Let's come over here to the Air Force Base right here. Whiteman Air Force Base, let's view all these listings. Okay, so there's 5 homes here. So this one's for rent, this one's for sale or for rent. This one's actually under contract, this one's for sale, this one's for rent by the property owner. So if I wanted to, I could just go ahead and click this right here, and then I could email this person directly just by clicking that button. I can put first name, last name, and then you could put, hey, would you like to sell your house? Okay, so that's another great resource. Where's this at? There we go. Okay, and what else? We got, and property managers, local websites. I say local and websites. Things should just be local. There we go. So what you can do, let's see what I put here. Oh, wow. Okay. So what you're going to do to find property managers' websites is you're going to search property managers near me. Okay. So I would just go to Google and just say property managers near me. Okay. As you can see, I get a bunch of different property managers. So I can see all of these different property manager websites. So I just want to pick any website, or I want to pick all of these websites, but I'll just pick one randomly. These are the ads. Let's just say key property management. Sounds good. Go to their website. And when I go to their website, what I'm looking for is their rental inventory. So it's each website's going to be a little different. So you have to do a little searching. So the property management, rental listings. This is what I'm looking for. Search our rentals. And then we got the addresses. So we go ahead and take all of these addresses. We could make a list or a spreadsheet, or we could have a virtual assistant do it for us, or you could have your spouse, or you could have your kids do it for you, or your business partner. You can take all of these. And what these are houses that have likely just been rehabbed, whether they're a new rental or it was a previous rental, the tenant moved out, and now the landlord has probably put some work into it, put some money into it to get it ready for the next tenant. So that landlord has just put some money into this property and it's vacant. They might be open to actually selling the property because who knows, this might not have been the first time they've done this since they've been a landlord. They want to kind of maybe get out of it. So these are great opportunities. How do you find motivated sellers? Okay. So let's see what else. What's next? All right. So you look at the rental inventory. Like I said, you'll take note of the addresses, then you can go ahead and skip trace those. So once you've taken note of all of these different property addresses, you'll go ahead and send them to a skip tracing service. And right here is our preferred skip tracing service. As far as I know, this is the best one with the best data. It's just go to Seller Skip Force, and they're the cheapest. And in my opinion, it's the best, most thorough data and most current data. And if I find something else, I'll go ahead and make sure that that domain name forwards to that service. But as of right now, and it's been this way for a minute, they're the best. Okay. And so you get all that, and now you market to them. Now, how do you market to them? Well, you can send them direct mail. Okay. You can send them a text message. And each one of these has a different service if you don't have a service that can do it. So here's a great service called, what is this one called again? Launch Control, right? Launch Control, you can go there, or you can have actual people cold call for you on your behalf. Or again, you can go to the agencies. You can take this list, give it to your agencies, and they can go do it for you. And they'll hit them up with text messages. They'll hit them up with phone calls and direct mail. They'll do it all, and they'll cold call them, and then they'll retarget ads so it shows up in front of their Facebook stream and on their Google searches. And so some of both closers.club and realestateinvestor.com get pretty sophisticated with it. Okay. So yeah, just if any of these make sense to you or resonating with you, go ahead and just click the link and you can go there. By the way, with all of this stuff, because I'm going to show you a lot of stuff and we're going to keep on going, you don't need to do it all. You just need to find one or two things that work really well for you. Okay. So don't feel overwhelmed like, oh my gosh, I have to remember all of this stuff, because you don't. You just have to pick everything I'm going to show you. Absolutely works. All of it works. You just have to pick one and go for it and just stick to it. All right. Next, to trigger action. So we've identified who we're marketing to. We've got our messages of how we're going to create curiosity, and we know where to go and find them. And now we want to make sure once they've seen that message, you got to tell them what to, got to give them a call to action. If you don't, people just won't do it. All right. So an example is get a fair all cash offer. Call me and then put your phone number. Or for a quick cash offer, text me, put your phone number. Get an instant cash offer. Go to blank, 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 your www, your website. Okay. You got to tell them what to do. However you want them to reach out to you, you have to tell them to do it, or else they're not going to do it. Right. So there's how we attract. Now let's talk about just actual lead generation. So a lead is the name, phone number, or the name and the contact information of somebody that has the ability to sell a property. Someone that has the ability to sell a property. That's a lead. And so that could be, it could be the homeowner themselves, of course. It could be someone that has a power of attorney. It could be maybe even a property manager in some cases. It could be the disposition manager at a bank, right? It could be anybody. It could be someone that is running an auction, because there's government auctions, there's martial auctions, there's all different types of auctions. So anyone that has the ability to sell a property, that's a lead. Now, once we have those leads, we're going to sort those leads into two categories. We have suspects and prospects. The suspects, they want to sell versus the prospects that need to sell. So we're always looking for the prospects. We're looking for those that need to sell. That's where the discounts are going to be. Now, understand, when you're talking to sellers, you're going to talk to a lot of them. Most sellers will not sell you their property at a discount. They're just not going to do it. Most people will just, I don't need to. We have a great market. But you're not looking for them. You're not looking for the people that want to sell. You're looking for the people that need to sell. And understanding that most won't, but also understand this. You don't need too many of them to sell to you at a discount. That's how lucrative real estate is. That's why it's produced more wealth than anything else. You just need a few to make some really, really good money. And maybe it's just one or two a month to have a very, very nice living and be your own boss. So you don't need a lot. Then here's the other thing. As you start working in your marketing, you're going to have sellers calling you. Understand that you need those sellers to call you if you're going to do deals, but you don't need any one seller. So don't get attached to sellers. Don't get attached to any one person, right? It's just move on, move on, move on. You're just looking for the people that are ready to go right now. Then now the best lead generation strategy. Like I said, I'm going to show you a bunch. Which one's the best one? Well, the best one is the one that you'll actually do consistently. They all work if you do, right? So they all work. Just find one that fits your personality or fits your schedule or fits your budget, whatever it may be, something that just fits you that you could see yourself doing and doing consistently. That's the one that you choose. And you only need to choose one, maybe two. You don't need many of them, right? And so you want to go deep before going wide. And I think this is really important because this is a big mistake I made early on. Is that I went over and I said, ooh, Craigslist, let's go try that. Ooh, RIA clubs, let's go try that. Ooh, let's go try knocking on doors. Oh, let's try cold calling. Let's try direct mail. So I tried all these different things. I tried for a little bit. I wasn't rich by the end of the month. So I'd try something else. I didn't get rich in a few days there. So I went and tried something else. Don't do that. They all work. You just have to pick one and go deep and just become an expert at that one. Become really efficient with that one. And once you think you've got it and it's working for you really well, go even deeper and try to refrain from trying to add an additional strategy. Okay, they all work. And lastly, don't overthink this. And that might be a big, bold statement right now after all the stuff that I'm showing you and that I'm going to show you. But it is really simple. Don't overthink it. You're just looking for people that need to sell their house. And your proposition to them is that I'm going to exchange equity for peace of mind. That's it. It's that simple. You're looking for someone that needs to sell the house. I'm going to give you peace of mind. You're going to give me equity in exchange. And we're both going to go our own ways, both being happy and both actually won, right? So there's lead generation. Okay. So I'm going to stop for a sec and just come over here to see if we have any questions. All right. Nope. Okay. Hello, everyone. We got plenty of people watching, so that's good. And I'm going to keep on going unless you guys have something that you want to ask so far. Good to see you, Edwin. Okay, let's keep going. There's the button there. And there we go. All right, so one thing that you can do, everyone can do this, and you should do this. If you don't do anything else after this training session tonight, you should do this, is in your inbox, your email inbox, you can go and set up a custom signature so that every single time that you send an email, that signature is automatically populated that email. So you go ahead and type, hey, I'll be over there at 5 o'clock. Can't wait to see you. That's your normal email message. And then it's going to say regards, Edwin. And then it's going to have this below it automatically. So this is what I always put. If we did regards, Edwin, P.S. Whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways I can help you with what troubles you most. So I have 3 different little blurbs here. And it looks kind of long and big because I made it big so you can see it, but it doesn't look that big on your actual email. But number 1, net you top dollar for a property you need to sell fast. My favorite thing to do is help property owners out of tight situations by presenting them with an array of custom solutions that will give them peace of mind. Pretty houses, ugly houses, and everything in between. Reply to this message and put seller solution in the subject line for a fast and easy solution. Right? So what I'm looking for here with option number 1 is I'm looking for a motivated seller. Number 2, I have something here. I'm looking for a money partner. I can also help you beat Wall Street's returns with less risk. Reply to this message and put bigger returns in the subject line. Tell me a little about the current state of your investments and what you'd like to see, and I'll get you all the details. Okay. Or number 3, discounted property. So I'm here, I'm looking for buyers. I can help you find discounted real estate for your investment portfolio. And it goes on, you'll get the picture. And you can go ahead and you can take these and you can modify it or tweak it if you'd like. You can put your domain name and your websites in there. You can put phone numbers or text processes or text sequences in there if you want, depending on how sophisticated you are with your CRM and everything. So, but these are exactly what I have. Now, here's what I found though. I say, to help you beat Wall Street's returns with less risk, reply to this message and put bigger returns in the subject line. I have found a lot better results by keeping it very organic. Like they're already reading your email. I'm just going to ask them to reply to the email and put that in the subject line. And that way it just feels very conversational and very connected. Because if I put I've tried this before. If you'd like to beat Wall Street's returns, go to this website and answer a few questions and I'll send you properties when they come available. So that's something I've tried in the past, and it doesn't produce nearly as good a result as it does when you just keep it organic inside of an email conversation. Just my little tip. You can do it however you want, but that's just the way I've discovered it. Last is also any question about real estate is welcome. If I know the answer or have a good resource, I'd be happy to share it with you. Okay. So here it is there. But if you'd like, right here, this little paper clip, that's the actual Word document. And then I believe it's a Word document. It's in Google Drive. You'll have to download it, but then you can just copy and paste it and put it right into your email signature. Okay. So that'll make it nice and easy for you. All right. Next, existing leads. So if you've already done some marketing and you've got some leads, then you want to keep reaching out to them because the fortune, it's in the follow-up. So you have to continue to follow up. And a lot of people don't want to follow up because, they don't know what to say. They don't want to sound desperate. They feel like the person was angry when they called, or they're not interested because they said they weren't interested, and all those types of things. Keep in mind, they called you instead of a real estate agent for a reason. Their situation might not be dire at the moment, but they know there's something going on in their world, something's going on in their life that they might need you somewhere down the road. And so they were just curious at the moment. But what I've come to discover, people that are experiencing these types of problems, and it's really sad that they do, and we all experience it. It's not a judgment on anybody, because life tends to kick each and every one of us in the teeth every once in a while. And when things are on a bad run, when people are on a bad run, things tend to get worse before they get better. And most people, when they call us, they're not on winning streaks at the moment. So keep that in mind and keep following up. So here's a few different ways to follow up. One is I use what's called an epic message. And conveniently, it's an acronym with epic. And so E stands for expects a reply. P, we make the message personal. I, it's a message of integrity. And C, it's concise. Keep it short. A lot of people tend to talk too much or tend to write too much. Keep it nice and short. Okay, so here's an example. This was a message I could send. I just came across your name. Are you still accepting cash offers for your house? Okay, so it's very short. It's one sentence, but it checks all the boxes. It's expecting a reply. I just asked, are you still accepting cash offers for your house? Very few people are going to say, no, I don't want a cash offer. I want an offer in chickens, right? So that expects a reply. Personal. So it kind of says, hey, I just came across your name. It suggests that, we might have crossed paths somewhere in the past. Integrity. Yes. So that's of integrity. If you're still accepting cash offers, you're darn right that I'm going to go ahead and send you a cash offer. So don't put anything in your messages that you're not willing to follow up with and not willing to back up. And then concise. Of course, this is very short. Okay, here's another one, just another example. Hey, my assistant is about to mail out a cash offer to you, and I wanted to confirm your property is for sale. Is it still? Okay, so that absolutely expects a reply. Hey, oh my gosh, they're about to mail something to me right now. Let's make sure they get it to the right address, right? Let's make sure that that it doesn't go in the wrong place, or let's make sure they're talking about the right person. So that absolutely expects a reply. It's personal, right? Hey, my assistant has already put this together for you. Okay, and of integrity, absolutely. If their house is still for sale, you absolutely are going to mail that. Your assistant is going to mail it, or you're going to mail it, right? And concise. It's nice and short. Got it? So there's your examples of epic messages. And so you can go ahead and play with those and come up with your own Just make sure that you check all 4 of these boxes, and they work really, really well. So now, how do we deliver these? Well, we can send them, let's see. Yeah, so these epic messages, okay, I thought I had this in here, but I guess it's probably going to come up later on. But there's a bunch of different ways that we can send this. These messages, we can send them via text message. We can send them, as I just showed you, military by owner had a little spot for the message that we could send to them. We could just copy and paste one of these and put those in there. You could send this via direct message. You could send it via Facebook and then through Facebook's marketplace, because that's going to go straight direct message. So this is kind of where you'd put these messages. Now, another way that you could do this, you could send them via ringless voicemail. So these are very much the epic message, but just a little bit more of a conversational tone. So a ringless voicemail, if you're not clear or not, if you don't understand what that is, it's just a voicemail that you pre-record and you send it out. It's a recording that you send out and it lands in your prospect's voicemail, but it doesn't ring their phone. It just shows up as a missed phone call, and then they'll see the message. So it has a really high open rate. It's really effective. But a lot of people, they don't do it right, in my opinion. And you've probably been on the receiving end of some of these ringless voicemails, or even the recorded voicemails that did ring, right? And hey, this is Joe, and I just wonder if you're interested in making more money in your spare time. I got a great opportunity for you. We've all had those types of things. So they sound a little salesy. I don't know how effective they are. I've never been on the other side of that. I guess they still get results if you do it enough times, because I've been getting them for a really long time. I don't think people would do them if they didn't work. But these work really well. Is if I were to say something, if this landed in your voicemail, just imagine, hey, it's Matt. We spoke a while back about your house, and another investor called me today that could pay more than I offered, but they're leaving town tonight. If your house is still for sale, please call me and put your number, right? Remember, these are existing leads that you're following up with. So you did speak to them a while back. And then, there's your thing. Hey, another investor just called me today that could pay more than I offered, but they're leaving town tonight. If you'd like to sell your house for a little bit more than what we discussed, please call me at blah, 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 blah. Got it? So here's another one. Hey, it's Matt. We spoke a while back about your house. My partner authorized me to pay a little bit more due to your inventory being low. If you'd sell today by us raising the price, please call me at 310, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So those are just different ways. And the secret to these is to not sound like a robot. Don't sound like you're reading it. Might want to say it a few times before you actually record it. And say it in the way that, if you were leaving your mom a voicemail, or you're leaving your high school buddy a voicemail. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And in fact, I think it's better if it's not perfect. So if you stutter or stumble through it a little bit, absolutely perfect. Okay, you don't want to make it all polished. So don't try to make it all sound perfect. Okay, so ringless voicemail is another way. Here's another thing that you can do. And I don't have the whole thing here because it's inside of our members area, but I'll give you an idea. So Josh Miller is one of my former clients, and he took the 3-option letter of intent that I use here. It's a letter. It proposes 3 different ways that you could purchase of someone's property. So it's a 3 option. So there's 3 options, and it's a letter of intent to purchase. So it's not an actual contract. It's just a letter saying, hey, if you'd like to sell your house, I can do it in one of these 3 ways. Tell me which one you like best and call me. So I don't know what the letter says. So I've been using that from the very beginning because it was been very, very effective. And I use it in a few different ways. I typically use it as a negotiating piece when I'm meeting with a seller face-to-face. But Josh, he did it in an entirely different way. He started creating these 3-option letters of intent and sending them to every single lead, because we're talking about existing leads. He started sending them to every single lead that had ever said no to him. So we called it his rejection letter. So when he got rejected, he started sending these letters. And so that result, he did 144 deals that year. Out of those 144 deals, he kept 88 of them as rentals. And of those 88 that rentals, 55 of them, more than half of those, all came from him sending this 3-option letter of intent. That's 55 deals he got from people that are originally said no to his all-cash, low discount offer. Right? So it's a very effective strategy. And so if you'd like to hear it from his mouth, I put a little link here to a YouTube video where I interviewed him and he walked me through it step by step. So if you'd like, you can click that link right there. And then here's the actual letter. So here's a letter template without a mortgage. If the property has a mortgage, you can send them this one. Here's the actual 3-option letter of intent, just the standard one that I use. And then here's the letter of intent calculator. It's just a little spreadsheet. You plug the numbers in there and it'll spit it out for you. Okay. All right. Now, Craigslist. Moving right on through. How much longer we got to go? Okay, we got a lot to go. All right. Good thing it's being recorded. Here we go. Craigslist. So Craigslist. I'm using Craigslist, but it works for all classified ads. And that could be online ads. It could be offline ads, right? But I use Craigslist because it's probably the biggest one. It's the most known. It's the most popular. And because it's the most popular, it's where all the people are, where all the eyeballs are. It's a necessary evil. And I call it a necessary evil because there's all kinds of crazy stuff on Craigslist, all kinds of stuff that goes on. That, there's all kinds of scammers and swindlers and shucksters, and it mixed in with all the legitimate people as well. And what makes it a necessary evil for us is the type of ads that we would post inside of Craigslist. They have an algorithm that kind of tries to detect BS. They got a little BS detector. And some of the stuff that we put in our headlines or in our body copy can get caught up and snagged by the algorithm. And so as soon as you place your ad or you post your ad, the algorithm can like flag it and take it down. But you just have to keep on playing the game, and they change it all the time, right? So it's an algorithm. They're constantly trying to tweak it and make it better. And so the rules are always changing. Like you can't put the phone numbers in there anymore. You can't put emails in there anymore. You have to respond straight through Craigslist. There's like a restriction on the types of images that you can use, and they really don't like redundant copy or duplicate copy. So you have to constantly be changing up your ads, constantly changing up your headlines. So it can be a little tedious, a little time consuming at first, but it gets easier as you go along. But it works. It absolutely works. So you just have to keep on playing that game. And it's a volume game. You have to do a lot. You got to play a lot there. And this is how Ivy got her 2 deals inside of these first 45 days, inside of 2 months for sure. And so what I had prescribed to her was to place 20 ads a day. So she'll do 3 or 4 in the morning, 3 or 4 late morning, 3 or 4 early afternoon, 3, 4, 5 in the evening. And so when you're doing that, and the reason you want to do it over and over and over again and place that many is because if I placed an ad right now on Craigslist on houses for sale or houses wanted sections, within a half hour, there's so much volume on there that that's already shows up on the second page. It's been pushed down by all the other ads that came up after you, that were posted after yours. And so you have to keep on posting and posting and posting. So it's time consuming at first, but it does get faster and easier. They've got, once you've made a certain number of posts, you can just start clicking repost, 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 and it doesn't take that long at all. But in the beginning, it's a little time consuming, but it works. And I kind of already went over the Craigslist rules that you're changing them all the time. And, if you start putting up ads, and here, I'll actually just show you, let's see. Show you my back office right now, what you can kind of expect. Let's see if I go to my account here. Let's see, log in. All right. Okay, so I got a couple that are still active. But you can see that this one's active, right? But I can go ahead and just renew it. Now that I've already posted it, I can just renew it every time that this button shows up. And I think it's 48 hours, and you can always renew. And then the ones that have expired, I can always repost. And so those are the active ones, or the most recent ones. Let's see if the active ones are any different. That's the only one that's active. But here's like my whole history of all of them, right? So you'll see all of these ones in gray have expired. Those were good ads that existed and lived on. These ones that are red, these are the ones that were removed by the algorithm. And they're removed by also the community will do some policing as well, and they'll flag them. So they removed them. So you get a lot removed. And sometimes I'll have a whole row, like 10 in a row got removed. Like, oh gosh, what they change? So I just got to go back and I got to tweak the headline. I got to tweak the copy. Might have to play with the images and all that kind of stuff a little bit. But now that I got all of these, it's really easy. I just click repost, repost, repost 3 times in the morning, 3 times later morning, click repost on a few more. And that can be really, really easy. So if you got like a full-time job and you have like 15-minute breaks, just take a break, right? You got a morning break, click, 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 and you're done. Your prospecting is done. At lunchtime, come back and go click, 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 and repost a few more. And then the afternoon break, click, and when you get home from dinner, go click, 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 and maybe before you go to bed, go click, click, click. And you got all these ads, right? And that's really an effective way to do it. So it takes some time to set them up at first, but it can be a really efficient way to do it. And that's how Ivy got her deal. All right. So now what do you put in the ads? So I did you a favor and I just gave you 20 of the ads that I use. It's a Google Doc. You can just download it and you can just start copying and pasting. Okay. Make it really easy. So here's kind of a recap, I think, of everything I just said. Yep. All right. And then here's the sections to post. Is in the real estate services section, real estate for sale, real estate wanted, wanted by owner. In the general community section is another place that a lot of real estate people don't go to. You can put them there. And then here are the ads. Okay. Just make sure that you swap out your name or swap out my name for your name, my phone number for your phone number. I don't want to get all of your calls from your marketing. But here's just an example. Well, number one, here's my headline. Matt buys Las Vegas houses. Then here's this. So this is still copy that I had before they changed the rule. They flag putting in your phone number now. So you might not want to do that. Or you can kind of do the thing where you spell out the one, and so it doesn't really detect it. But the algorithm can detect this structure of how you typically type a phone number, okay? But then also notice when you're going through these ads, and you can go ahead and you can tweak all of these, but these are great places for you to start, good starting launch pads. Keep them nice and just conversational. You know, a lot of people on Craigslist and in many areas, but Craigslist, you can see it a lot. You know, the marketing is kind of akin to you. Say you walked into a Starbucks. Say you're having a party at your house this weekend, and you walked into a Starbucks and you wanted to invite everybody in Starbucks. The way most marketers would do this is they'll stand on the table and they'll scream to everybody in the Starbucks, "Hey, party at my house tonight. Come on, let's go." And they're really loud, and a lot of people are like, "Hey, be quiet. I'm trying to enjoy my coffee," or whatever it may be. Not really that effective. Not as effective as it could be. Certainly there's going to be some people that are like, "Hey, I want to go." But think of your marketing as, you know what? You're going to sit down with each one of those people in the Starbucks and tell them what one by one in a one-on-one private conversation at your own little private table about your party and invite them that way. So think of your copy that way. So kind of refrain from using a bunch of emojis and exclamation points and capital letters. Like, don't scream at them in your copy. Okay. Here's the other thing that I do is I put a giant list of keywords below. Now, I don't know, this is working for some people and some people not. I'm not sure if this is the source for some people getting flagged. But what I do is all of these keywords are at the bottom of my ad. And so if someone comes to Craigslist and searches, "Hey, buy my house," they might type in the words "buy my house." And then in those results, it's going to be my ad will pop up. Okay. So you can try it and play around with that. And then here's number 2, number 3, 4, 5. So I got 20 of them here for you. Okay. So go ahead and play around with those and just keep on posting. And again, if you don't like the way this sounds and this sounds too terrible and it's not up your alley, then don't do this one. But if you are really short on funds and short on funds for marketing dollars, this is really, really effective, right? When it comes to lead generation, you can either pay for it or you can work for it. And this is one of the ways that you work for it, and it costs no money at all. All right, let's see. Image examples. So I put some examples of some of the images that I use in my Craigslist ads. And then you can go make your own images over here at Canva. I love this website. All right, so let's move on. What time is it? Okay, we've been here about an hour. Let's keep going. For rents and FSBOs. So these are people that have their houses for rent, so they're vacant. And these are people that don't want to deal with a real estate agent. They think they can do better. So those are for sale by owners. So where do you find them? A lot of the same places, but anywhere online or off that posts real estate for rent or for sale. Then you can just search for phone numbers and property addresses. So every time you go into a website, you're going to be looking for, remember, the contact information of somebody that has the ability to sell a property. That's what a lead is. And it's going to be different on every single website. So just know that you're searching for phone numbers and you're searching for the property addresses. If you have that, you can always come over here and dump them into PropStream, and then that will pull up the actual seller's name for you. So they have a great feature in there that'll do that. Okay, so Craigslist, Zillow, Redfin, Facebook Marketplace is another really great place to go find for rents and FSBOs, even for sale by owners. But Facebook, they got their own little security measures in place, and so they don't like to see a high volume. So kind of limit to how many messages you send, about 10 to 15 a day, or else they're going to flag you and kick you off. For salebyowner.com, go section 8. We talked about that, military by owner, the property management websites. And so if that all looked very time consuming to go to all these websites and scrape all that information, copy and put all of those addresses into a spreadsheet. So then you could send them over and then get them skip trace. So then you could actually, you could mail them or call them or text them, whatever it may be. There's a really great service here, and it's really, really cheap. It's this website scraping service. So if I'm just going to click this link here, and they're in Australia, and it's just a group of VAs, I imagine, and they have great customer service. And you can just go and they will, you tell them what you want to do. This is actually the link to the Zillow page, but they do a bunch of different websites. Let's see if we just go to the main page here. But you could tell them, go to Zillow and find all the for sale by owners for me. You could tell them, go to Zillow or go to Redfin and find all the for rents for me. You can say, go to Craigslist and find all the distressed properties for sale for me. So you can just tell them to go do all that and put all of those addresses into a spreadsheet for you. And they'll go, and in the morning, you send them to them today. They're in Australia, so they're just waking up. They'll do the work, and in the morning, you'll go ahead and you'll have your list ready for you, right? So at the very least, just call them, talk to an expert, and say, this is what I want to accomplish, and they can do just about anything. They're very, very flexible and very, very efficient. And here's the great thing, the pricing. It's probably the best part of the whole thing. Is they'll do that web scraping for you up to 100,000 data records for a one-time fee of $99. It's not even $99 a month. It's just $99 one time. They'll do up to 100,000 records, right? And so give them a try if you don't want to do all that work yourself. If you've got 99 bucks, it could be a very good use of your 99 bucks. Okay. So that's where. Now, how do we find them? So we can send them via text message. We can send them via Facebook Messenger or private messenger. A lot of the websites have a way that you can contact the seller directly. You can go ahead and just call them. But understand this, whether it's text message or a messenger service, the intent is to get them on the phone and set an appointment. A big mistake people will make is they try to close the deal via text message or close the deal via email. Don't do that. The intent is to get them on the phone and set an appointment. So as soon as you're engaged with someone and they're responding, then you know what? There's a lot to talk about. Would it make sense for us to just hop on the phone? So as soon as you got the opportunity to say that, that's when you want to get on the phone with them, okay? Or you can just go ahead and you could delegate all of this stuff to vasforrealestate.com. Really affordable service of virtual assistants. That's what VA stands for, virtual assistant. And they're all specially trained just in real estate. And then if you click this link, they're going to give you special treatment because they know you came from Epic. So this little paper clip right there. Okay. And so they'll do all the texting, they'll do the messaging, they'll do the phone calling. And then once they have somebody that's willing and able to sell their house and likely at a discount, they'll go ahead and set up an appointment for you and say, hey, Edwin, I got this appointment set up for you on Saturday. The person's on fire, They're ready to sell and they can't wait to meet you. Right. So you can have that all just done for you. So let's see, for rents and for FSBOs. So what? I got more, or what are we going to say to them? So I got more swipe copy for you. Just click the little paperclip, takes you to the link. Okay, so for sale by owners, you're going to search these websites like Craigslist, Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, Trulia, Redfin for sale by owner, wherever people are trying to sell their properties without a real estate agent and are looking for tenants. About 50% will reply. So that's what you can expect. 50% won't. Most won't be interested, so expect that. But you're only looking for the ones that are. And limit the amount of texting correspondence per lead to a minimum and get on the phone ASAP. The intent is to get a response and get them on the phone to discuss. Okay. So once you've got the rules down, here's some of the messages that you'll send to a FSBO. Hey, I'm an investor and I saw your property on Zillow. Is your price negotiable? Thanks, Matt. So remember those epic messages. Expecting a reply, personal, of integrity, and concise. Hey, my wife and I are there we go. My wife and I are looking for a house to buy after leasing for a year or two. That wouldn't work for you, would it? So that's you'd be looking like, say, for a lease option. It would be a great way. And then here's the types of messages that you can send to the for rents. So, hey, regarding your house on Zillow at 123 Main Street, you wouldn't be open to selling it, would you? Then once you get them on the phone, the next thing is for any positive response you receive, you reply with, hey, would it make sense for us to hop on the phone to discuss? Then on the phone, you start with your little interview. And then if you end up talking to a property manager or a realtor, make friends with them. Tell them what you're looking for. Let them know how you might be able to help them. A lot of investors will get discouraged because they're talking to the property manager. They want to be talking to the seller, or they're talking to a real estate agent. A lot of real estate agents will place these ads out there trying to find themselves their own clients. So they're kind of prospecting you in the same way that you're prospecting them. And people will get discouraged with that, and they're like, oh, that was a wasted call. No, these are all people that can connect you with deals. They can connect you with buyers. They can connect you with partners. Every real estate investor is always a buyer at some point. They're always a seller at some point. Okay. So tell them what you're looking for. Make a friend. Let them know you might be able to help them and exchange information. Put them in your follow-up system. And before you hang up, ask. This is one of the questions I love to ask property managers and real estate agents. Do you know of any listings open to seller financing? Do you know any listings open to seller financing? Okay. And the reason that you want to ask that, because in their world, that secular world, I guess, the retail world, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyone, if they know of a listing that would be open to seller financing, it's probably because there's some sort of problem there with the property or with the seller, or there's some sort of unique challenge that they think that maybe a traditional sale isn't going to satisfy. Like maybe the house won't appraise, or maybe the house won't qualify for a loan. So that's opportunity for you. There's profit there. Okay. And then responses. Let's see. Okay, so here's our little 9-point seller interview. I'm not going to go into that because I'm just talking about marketing, but this is the 9-point interview we use inside of Epic, and just a way to start your conversation with the seller. And then with property managers, what do we do with them? Make friends, tell them what you're looking for, add them to your database, and then before you hang up, do you know of any listings open to seller financing? So that was all there in the little downloadable sheet too. So it's there in both places. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to do: seller finance or fixer searching. So where? A lot of the same places, right? Everywhere there's property for sale: Redfin, Zillow, Craigslist, Trulia, Realtor.com, website scraping. You can do this with them too. And here's the motivated keyword list. So we're going to go to these different websites, and we're going to look for these specific keywords that are in the ads that might suggest that there's motivation there for them to sell at a discount. Right? So I'll just give you a really quick example. Okay, let me download this. I'll pull up the little SOP for this. Okay, and then right here is a list of our motivated seller keywords. So these keywords like seller financing, that would be a good keyword to put in. Owner financing, owner will carry, OWC, seller financing, owner finance. So those are all different words, and each one of those are specific. Even though they all of those mean the same thing, they might show up differently in each of the ads. And then there's a fix, there's fixer, there's wholesale, handyman, as is, desperate, condemned, motivated, code violation. So I'll give you a quick example of how this might work. I could use Craigslist again. I'll do two different ones just so you see. But you got to be a little bit resourceful and look for the stuff, okay? So here I am for real estate for sale. What if I just typed in the word fixer? Okay. Here's a fixer-upper wanted. Looking to pay cash for fixer-upper houses. Okay, so those are most people that are wanting it. Okay, so property needs work, fixer-upper. So here's a fixer-upper here. Here's a fixer-upper here. So those are properties that might be worthy of you marketing to. Okay. So those are all properties. Another one might be, let's say, owner. Let's see, owner. Gosh, can't type. Will carry. Let's see what happens there. Right. So here's a bunch of properties right here that would be willing to carry back financing. It's a bunch of houses. You might even be able to find your own primary residence doing something like this. Okay, so that's an example. Now, if I went to, say, Zillow, I could do the same thing. I want to buy a house, looking for houses for sale. And then let's see. How do I clear this? Can I clear this? You guys can probably see it all right there. Let's remove the boundary. Okay. All right, so I've got a bunch of my criteria in here. Let me just play with this for a second and say we were looking for 3 bedrooms. Let's just do any. Right, we're doing the houses, townhouses, multifamily, very good. Now over here in more, I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom and it asks for keywords, as you can see right here. And I can just type in my keyword. If I just typed in, I don't know, let's type in handyman. Let's see if that comes up. Who knows? Oh, no handyman. Let's try it. Maybe add handyman. Nope. Okay. So that one didn't work. What if I put in fixer there? Oops. Slow down. Okay, so there's one over here. I was kind of zoomed in too far. That's probably why that wasn't coming. So there's one fixer. Okay. How about as is? Ah, look at that. These are all houses that are going to be sold as is. So the only reason someone will put as is in one of their ads is probably because it needs repairs. They're not going to make any repairs to those houses. Let's see if we could find a seller finance. A lot of times I'll put OWC. That means owner will carry back the financing. And OWC is something that real estate agents use. That's a shorthand that they'll use. So I'll just type that in and see. Okay, there's just one. But owner will carry right here. So you can see there. And then also, like if you go to Redfin, Redfin's got a cool little feature. Let's see. I did Las Vegas a bunch of times. Let's see, who else could I do right now? Let's do I don't know. Denver, Colorado. Let's go see what's going on there. All right, so here's Denver, Colorado. And if I come over here to the filters on the right, oops, they have fixer-uppers only right there. And so all of these houses right here are all classified as fixer-uppers. So those are different ways. And now you can go and you can pull these addresses and you can contact the agent that's representing them or send the letter directly to the seller. And a lot of people think, hey, isn't that immoral? No, you don't have an agreement with the seller. That agreement is between the real estate agent and the seller. Now, the seller, if they want to sell the house, you'll probably have to deal with the real estate agent. But it's a great way to get in and and the seller might like what you have to say, might like what's in your letter or on your marketing piece, and say, hey, agent, call them up and see if you can put a deal together. It's happened many times. Okay, and then let's see. So here's just some other examples of epic messages once you find them. Hey, I notice you're open to seller financing. Is the down payment negotiable? That might be a really good opening statement, right? Opening question. Hey, I notice the property needs some fixing. Have you priced out the repairs needed? If so, do you have a ballpark figure? So those properties that are as is, you can go ahead and just send them a message straight to the seller that way. Okay. All right, moving right along. I'll go ahead and I'll take a break and let's see if you guys have any questions here. Okay. Any advice for a starting realtor? Would love to know. Yeah, don't stop prospecting. That would probably be the biggest thing. I was a real estate agent for 4 years, almost 5 years. And that's when you got to start. There's buyers and there's sellers. You got to make sure you just got to get yourself in between them. And what I did, the one thing that I did was I would look for other agents that had vacant house listings, houses where nobody's living in them. And I would hold their house open Monday through Friday. And that worked really, really well for me as a real estate agent because most real estate agents hold the houses open on weekends. And now you got a bunch of competition. But if you are holding an open house Monday through Friday, then you're like the only game in town. And people love to stop by there on their way home from work. So I had to do it from like 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock at night. And so that worked really well. And use a lot of signs. Make sure you got more signs than all of your competition. That'll attract everybody in. All right. Brandon, very good. Glad you're here. Super, super. Yes, you'll have access to the mind map. I'm going to put it in the description below after we're done here. Okay. All right. Let's go back. What else we got? Okay. If you want to access, give this a free run so you can use all the data that we use here, you can go ahead and go to propstreamepic.com. That'll give you 7 days for free. Okay. Now, realtors. So realtors can be really frustrating, but they can also be super valuable. Just like they can be as difficult to find a really good cooperative, investor-friendly realtor as it is to find a motivated seller. But this is what you're going to be looking for. If you're working with real estate agents, we're going to look for properties on the multiple listing service. This is one of the strategies I use. I look for listings on the multiple listing service that have been on the market longer than 60 days. I'll type in motivated seller keywords, and then I'll look for properties that are free and clear. And for an example, how you can do that right here, say I went over here to, let's try a different market. Who are we going to do? Let's do St. Louis, Missouri. Okay. There's St. Louis, Missouri. So they got 4,360 houses on the multiple listing service. So each one of these houses are represented by a real estate agent. So I'm going to go ahead and click all of these properties. I'll wait for this to load up. There's a lot of them. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to the filter, to the multiple listings status filter. I want the ones that are on market. Yes. I want the active listings. And then right here, I would just, so that gave me 1,909. What are the properties that have been on the market, say for 60 days or longer? So here's 870 properties that are not selling in essentially the hottest market of our lifetime, right? So there's an issue there. And that could be something where you could go ahead and you can call those real estate agents and say, hey, I'd like to place an offer on your property. I don't have anybody to represent me. Would you represent me? And you're asking them that because that's where they get to do something called double ending. They're going to get both sides of the commission if they're representing you, the buyer, and they're also representing the seller. So agents love to get those phone calls, and they'll take those phone calls and they'll have that conversation with you, especially if they've been sitting on a listing that's been sitting on the market for much longer than what the market average is, like 60 days and 90 days or more. So that's one way you could do it. Or what you could do is, if you had a real estate agent that you're working with, you could have your real estate agent just submit offers to all of these 870 real estate agents. So they could just call up and say, hey, I've got an offer coming over to you. And you could just say, you could just kind of set up here. Let's see, what's the listing price? This one's 59,000. This one's 330, 297. Just say, let's submit offers across the board at 80% of that listing price, just as an example. So all we want to do, we're not going to go for a super big discount, but we want to see if they're at least open to a discount. The fact that they've been on the market for 60 days or longer is a good shot that a lot of them will be open to a discount. But all you're really looking for is a counter offer, and you're looking to get into contract. So once you get the counter offer and you go back and forth and you can actually get into contract, now you can conduct your due diligence. That doesn't mean you have to buy it. It's still a regular real estate transaction, and you as the buyer have your contingencies in place. You get to conduct your inspections, and you've got the appraisal, and you've got all this different types of stuff that you get to do, which we call a free look for a certain period of time. And if you don't like what you see, then you can cancel. But if you're in the property and you find out this property is going to need more repairs than I thought, then you can go back and you could renegotiate that if you wanted to as well. So those are different ways that you can work with real estate agents. Where am I at? Here we go. Oh, maybe I just already did all of this. Okay. So you can contact the agents via email or phone. Almost all of these right here, I believe, right here in this stuff. If I wanted to call this person on 701 Oak Brook Lane, I can go to the MLS details, and I think the agent's information is right down here somewhere. Yep. How funny. He's a good friend of mine, Jeffrey Garner. So there's his phone number right there, and you can just give him a call. Okay. What are the chances? I'm going to ask him, what's that 701 Oak Brook Lane? Well, how much is that one running? I might make him an offer on that one. Was this one, right? How fun. Where's the sales price or listing price? I know it's right in front of my face. Anyway, I'll find it. There's mortgage balance last year, estimated value. Oh, let's go to the MLS details. Oh, list price. So it looks like he's renting this property. Okay. Good to know. Here we go. Next. So educate realtors on your strategy. And this is key, because a lot of real estate agents, if you went up to them and said, hey, I'd like you to write 870 offers for me, unless you explain that to them, they're going to be like, hell no, not going to write that unless you got a relationship with them already in advance. But if you explain to them that, hey, I want to write some offers on a bunch of houses. I know most of them are going to say no, but I know some of them are going to say yes. Are you willing to do this for me? Even if you get a bunch of no's, are you willing to do this paperwork? So explain that to them up front so you don't have to go through this hassle. And even that's not a perfect system, but explain it to them. Explain to the rules. This is what I'm trying to do. Then set their expectations. Let them know there's going to be a lot of no's. And then also confirm their commission. Here we are back to our favorite radio station, everybody's favorite radio frequency. What's in it for me? WIIFM. Real estate agents, they want commissions. They want lots of commissions. They want frequent commissions. They want consistent commissions. Okay, so always make sure that, hey, there's 860 of these properties for sale. Let's go ahead and write 860 offers. If we get 3, 4, 5 of those, that's commission for you times 5 properties. See what I'm saying? So always kind of, as you're educating your realtors on your strategy, you're setting their expectations, and then always remind them what's in it for them. Okay, so teaming up with realtors. I put a little cheat sheet here for that as well. So I kind of covered this a little bit. All right, let's do it. Finding a good, open-minded, scratch my back and I'll scratch yours realtor can be an invaluable team member. Keep your eyes and ears open for one, okay? The basic exchange in value. This is why a real estate agent would want to work with you and why you'd want to work with a real estate agent, okay? So the basic exchange in value is you feed the realtor your lost leads, and then you're going to list with them your retail properties. So that's how you're going to help them, because you're going to go and talk to sellers and you're not going to be able to do a deal. And even though that seller still wants to sell, they might not just be able to sell to you at the discount or the price that you want it for, but that's a great lead for a realtor. And realtors love to get those types of referrals. So that's a great exchange of value. That's why the realtor would want to work with you, because you're generating the leads. You're out there marketing. You're doing all of these strategies, stuff that they've never even heard of. They've got no clue at how this works. And this is what the realtor does for you. So the realtor helps find deals on the multiple listing service for you, and then gives you first crack at properties before they hit the MLS. That's the exchange in value. All right. Now keep this in mind. This is a biggie. Most realtors will be reluctant to participate until you prove yourself first. Doesn't seem fair, but that's just the way it usually is. Additionally, most realtors are going to be resistant to or completely unaware of anything even remotely creative. Many will actually think any creative offer you propose is some sort of scam or flat out illegal. You can choose to try and educate them, or just move on until you find someone that gets it. Finding an open-minded cooperative realtor that's willing to participate fairly can be extremely frustrating. So for best results, you'll have to be the giver first. And frequently, you're going to have to give more than once before you get anything in return. So focus on the realtor, what the realtor cares about most: commission, fast commission, easy commission, now and future commission. And the reason you're going to have to be the giver first, and the reason you might have to give multiple times before you get anything in return, is because realtors are approached by real estate investors all day long, and those real estate investors are just blowing smoke right up the real estate agent's keisters. Okay, they make these big promises and never follow through. And the real estate agent, they've heard it before. So it's sad that there's been real estate investors before you that have already ruined the relationship before you even got there. So you've got some extra work to do, but it's worth it. I mean, a lot of time can be saved here by working with a few realtors in the beginning to find that one golden relationship, because that relationship can be as good as gold. The work in establishing an equitable relationship with a realtor is very much worth it. So be patient. Okay. So here's what you do. There's the instructions on what you should do when what you're doing for realtors. And then here's what realtors will do for you. Okay. So that's how you build that relationship. That's how you work with real estate agents. All right. Driving for dollars. So what this is you're just going to drive up and down streets, or walk up and down streets, walk through neighborhoods. This is still this is probably the oldest marketing strategy in the book, since investors have been trying to buy property and sell them for a profit. And it still works today. And so what you're doing is you're driving up and down streets, walking up and down streets, and this is what you're looking for. You're looking for houses with long grass, overgrown bushes, missing rain gutters, broken windows, city or county notices, worn or damaged roofs, abandoned cars, outdated houses, anything with for rent or for sale signs. You're looking for boarded up windows and doors, looking for vandalism, any bunch of newspapers in front. Those are what you're looking for. Those are signs of distress. It might be personal distress. It might be property distress. It might be financial distress. So you take note of the property address. Okay, so I'm going to write it down, 123 Main Street in your little book. or your little notepad or your little clipboard, whatever you have. And then you're going to come up and look up in the county records. So you can go right to the county records of your county and you can look up those addresses and get that seller's information. Or you can just take that address and plug it right into PropStream, and that'll come right up. Like if this was the address, let's see. I'll just type it in here. So if I was going to type in, say 629 Damerville, right? So there it came up right there. I'm just going to click on that. I'll go to details, and then boom, Beverly Stroop. She owns that property, and then there's her mailing address. Got it? So that's how the driving for dollars would work. And you could do that at the county records, or you could do it with a service like this, and it'll be a little bit more convenient for you. Then you can mail them, text them, ringless voicemail them. You could call them, all the same stuff we've talked about. Here's a great call script that you could use, or you could give it to a virtual assistant to do it for you. This is the very one that we use, and it's very easy. It kind of works like a phone tree, so to speak. So, hey, this is Matt. This is hey, I'm looking for Beverly, right? That's who we're just looking at. This is Matt, and I know this call is out of the blue, but I was calling about a property I believe you own at 123 Main Street. Would you consider an offer on your property there? Very simple, nice and straightforward. Hi, I'm looking for so-and-so. I'm so-and-so. I know this is out of the blue, but I'm looking to buy this house. Do you own it, and would you consider selling it? Okay. Now, if they say yes, you're going to say, great. Would it be okay if I ask you some questions about it? If they say no, then you say, okay, thanks. Do you have any other properties for sale? So every box has a yes or a no, and you just kind of follow it all the way down, and it leads all the way down here. Great. When my boss calls, he's going to quickly confirm everything we discussed and ask a few more very short questions before making an offer. If it doesn't feel to be a good fit, he'll let you know right away. Is that okay? And if it doesn't feel to be a good fit for you, can you promise to let him know right away too? Super. So expect a call from her at 12 o'clock. Have a nice day. So I set this up to have a virtual assistant set these appointments up for you. But you could very easily just go ahead and go to your own close and set the appointment to see the property yourself right there. Okay. So that's right there, the cold call script. And then Epic Deal Machine. So if you don't want to go through all that manual labor and you want to pay a few bucks, so this is not free for 30 days. It's actually free for 7 days now. Very good. So if you don't have the Deal Machine app on your phone, I don't have my phone with me, but it's just a little app on your phone. And when you see one of these houses with the overgrown trees and the boarded up windows, you just pull out the phone, open up the app, take a picture of that property, and right there inside the app will come up all the seller's information instantly like that. And you can go ahead and you can call them straight from your phone right there, or you can push a button, and what it'll do is it'll send them a postcard saying, hey, I'd like to buy your house. And on that postcard, we'll have the very picture that you just took of their house. So it's a nice, fresh picture, and it gets a lot of attention. Okay, so that's it, epicdealmachine.com. It's free trial, free access for 7 days. Click this link, this little paperclip link there. And then you also get $30 of direct mail credit. So you can send $30 worth of those postcards. I think the postcards like 70, 80 cents each. So you can probably send like 35, almost 40 of those properties, or almost 40 of those cards before you even have to pay for anything. Okay, so it's a great way to get started driving for dollars. Again, just another way to do it. If you don't want to drive for dollars, don't do it. Okay, cold calling, we just kind of talked about that already. So basically the for rents and the for sales, there's the same cold call script. This guy, Claude Diamond, if you want to become a really good cold caller, I think he's the best in the business. And this is a little link to his YouTube channel. And he's just going through live calls. And he's just brilliant at it. I've never met him before. We have mutual friends, but I've never met him before. I have no affiliation with him, but I just love watching him. He's really, really good on the phone. So if you want to do that, but if you don't want to do it yourself, then you can go to get the cold calling done for you. And there's a few different places that you could go. Let's see. Flowchart, script, and example recordings. Okay. So cold calling done for you. This is through vasforrealestate.com also. That's where this link is going to take you. VAs for real estate, right? Yeah, right there. And then if you'd like to hear their service, they've got a little flow chart of how it works, the exact script that they use. And then they have example recordings of their VAs making those calls. So you can hear, if you were going to hire them, you could hear what they're going to sound like first. And you just click there. That's going to take you to a Google Drive. Let's see. Here it is. Yeah. Okay. So here's the 6-figure business flow chart. Here's the cold calling scripts that they use. And here's actual recordings of their VAs doing those calls on your behalf. So you can go and check that out if you like. Okay, what's next? All right, direct mail. So a lot of us know what direct mail is, right? I still think it's probably the best way to, if you've got a marketing budget and you want to reach, and you kind of just want to throw a wide net out there and have the phone start ringing, it's still probably the best way to do it, the most efficient way to do it. Texting works really good as well. But there's been some new restrictions and guidelines that you kind of have to follow on the texting. So it's not as great as it used to be. Still very good, still very doable. But direct mail, it still works. And you know what's kind of nice is I think direct mail for us is working better than it ever has or has in a long time, because everybody went to the texting. Everybody went to the ringless voicemail, and everybody stopped at direct mail because direct mail was a little bit more expensive than those other two sources. And so we continued with our direct mail, and it continues to work for us. So there's different things that you can send out. You can send out that 3-option letter of intent that I showed you earlier with Josh. Here's the actual calculator. Here's the 2-offer letter that you can use. There's that. Then yellow letters. So lease options. So I think this is an example of what a yellow letter is. I think. Yes. All right. So it's simple. It's like this. Hey, John, my wife and I would like to buy your house at 629 Greystone Drive, Las Vegas. Please call us at Best Map. That's as detailed as it needs to be. And you just kind of fold that 3 ways, put an envelope, and send it. Is a really great way to do it. But one person that we have working with us now here at Epic for our private clients, and she's open to working with you as well if you'd like. She's a direct mail coach, and she'll walk you through what's the best list in your area, what's the budget you're going to need, what's the best mailing pieces that are going to work in your area. She'll help you design a campaign and have it all fit so it fits for you perfectly. And her coaching, her time is absolutely free. Now you got to pay for the direct mail and everything. But if you want to set up a time with her, her name is Emmy. Just click this little link, and that's going to take you to her calendar page right here. And then you can just pick a time that works for you. So what's today? Okay, so I get this is December already. Okay, but you just pick a time and say on the 1st between you have 9:30s open and 2:30 p.m.s open, and then she'll be there waiting for you at that time and go ahead and help you decide if direct mail is a good option for you or not. Okay, and again, her time is free. All right, last thing, additional tools. What do we got here? Okay, skip tracing. So I gave you the skip tracing service of Seller Skip Force. This was the one that I really, really like. But this is another good source that I use also, because they do more than just skip tracing. They'll actually do a lot of the cold calling for you. They'll skip trace and call, and so they'll go ahead and work your leads for you. Let's see, while that's coming up, let's go to the next one. Then Zillow, Craigslist scraping. So I already showed you that one. That's the Australian company that'll do that stuff overnight for you. And then if you'd like to get an LLC, this doesn't really have anything to do with marketing, but I shared this with all of my students, so I'll go ahead and share it with you as well. Especially as we're approaching the end of the year. I don't know when you'll actually be watching this, but there's a bunch of huge tax advantages. If you're working as a sole proprietor, it might be time, and you're making some money, you're intending to make some money, it might be a good time to go ahead and set an LLC or set up some sort of legal entity. And it's almost free. So what I'm saying that is that because they're working with me and I give them so much business, and because they want to show you how good they are and earn your business, they'll do that LLC for essentially free. All you got to do is pay your state filing fees. There's no way to get around that. You got to pay that regardless of who you have set up your entity. And then you have to, then there's like, I don't know, $300-400, a few $100 for the actual attorney, but not the thousands and thousands of dollars you'd expect to pay for setting up an entity like this. And maybe you don't need an LLC, maybe you need something else. And so they'll go ahead and they'll spend an hour with you for free and go ahead and kind of design your whole strategy around your business. And they'll just show you what else they do. And maybe some of that will make sense. Maybe it won't. But take advantage of that, because we're all focused here on making money, but it's not necessarily how much money you make. A great deal of it has to do with how much money you keep. So you want to make sure that you're set up and conducting business in the right business entity. So just click this little pay-per-click link, and that'll take you to that page as well. All right. So we're good, I think. That we covered the whole thing. And let me come back over and answer some questions if there's any there. All right, cool. Okay, let's see. All right, good. Got a bunch of people still here, so that's good. Hour and a half. I really want to commend you all for being here that long. It means you take your business seriously. And so, yeah, you're exactly the type of people I'd like to work with. So good, and interact with. Edwin's asking, Matt, will you, Pace, and Joe be doing your podcast again? Yes, we will be. But Pace has gone total Hollywood on us, and he's doing his movie right now, doing his TV show, and they just wrapped that up, and they just renewed him for a couple more seasons, and I think they even renewed him for a what do you call it? A spin-off show as well. So I think he's going to be busy for a while, so we're going to go for it. Chris, can you see this video again? Yes. As soon as I'm done, you can go ahead and rewind. I think you can rewind it right now. Just drag it across the little bar there, and you can take it right on back to the beginning. Okay, but this whole recording will stay up here live, and so I hope you really enjoyed it. And again, this was just like laying the whole foundation for marketing. Now, at this REI marketing masterclass that I conducted live with my private students, there were a bunch of experts, and they kind of showed this is how they do it. And if you want to go deeper with this, it might make sense for you to go over to reimarketingmasters.com, the little domain name that you see there right at the bottom at the corner of the screen. Go there and take a look at what we have over there and what that was, and you can grab all of the recordings. This right here was just the foundation and the first session. And I had to do this one again because this recording got corrupted during the masterclass. So I had to do it again. So I thought I'd just do it live with you. But the rest of the recordings have all been edited, and they're all being uploaded, I think, as we speak right now into our members area. Plus, you get the entire service that we have here at Epic with as far as our members area goes, and all the lessons and the creative financing and how to raise private money and the wholesaling and all the different strategies. It's all there. Alrighty. Sweet. Let's see. Can you see the video again? Yes. Very good, Chris. No worry about the time. That's what the recording's for. Rob Dyrdek's dad. Just kidding. All right. That joke went right over my head if it was a joke. But it was a funny one. It was a good one. Thanks for just kidding with me. I like a sense of humor, and we're good to go. All right, y'all. So go out and take this stuff and, go crush it. Steal this stuff. This is the very stuff that we're using in our market. It's the very stuff that we are teaching and coaching our private clients through. And so now it is yours. Is there a support email for questions? Chris, go ahead and put them in the comment section of this video down below, and I will do my best to answer all of those. Alrighty. Okay, y'all. You have a good night, and I will see you next time. Take care.